welcome back. If this is your first time to the channel, my name is Leah, and today we are doing yoga on the Cutler Coast Trail in Maine. Alright, so we hiked about 3 miles and ended up at this awesome camp spot with a view. There's a fairly flat spot here, so we're going to get started with some yoga. Whenever you're ready, you can move into child's pose with your shins down on the mat, your hips moving back towards your heels, your forehead moving towards the mat, and your arms out in front of you if that is comfortable. Go ahead and bring your focus to your breath. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, sigh out any tension. Try that again. Inhale, fill up your lungs, and exhale, let it all go. And then whenever you're ready, start to narrow your breath down to your nostrils so you're breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Start to slow that breath down. Lengthen your breath. Smooth it out. And then when you're ready, take an inhale, start to come up onto all fours. Your hands are underneath your shoulders. Your knees are underneath your hips. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, press your hips back for a downward facing dog. Now, since this is the first downward facing dog of class, you might be a little stiff. You can add a little bit of movement. Lift one heel, drop the other, and then switch. You can move your hips from side to side, whatever feels good for you. And then whenever you're ready, find a moment of stillness. As you inhale, shift your shoulders forward, come into a high plank. As you exhale, lower to your own degree. Inhale, lift your head and chest, upward facing dog. And then exhale, press your hips back for a downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your head and chest. And then exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Once you're finished exhaling, take an inhale, shift into high plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 more. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Final one, shift your shoulders forward with the inhale. Lower down with your exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just doing a super quick warm up here. If you feel like you need a rest, you can put your knees down and come into a child's pose. If you're comfortable here, you can hang out. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, shift your shoulders forward, come into high plank. Bring your left knee towards your left elbow. Take it back. Right knee to right elbow. Take it back. Left knee to left elbow. Right knee to right elbow. Left knee to left elbow. Hold it. Maybe you lower just a little bit. Come back up. Left foot moves back. Right knee to right elbow. Lower a little bit if you choose. Take that right foot back. Set your knees down on the mat. Come into a child's pose. Flip your palms up and give your wrists a break. If you want to give your shoulders a break, you can move your arms back by your sides or interlace your fingers at the small of your back and reach your elbows together. All right, start to reach your arms forward if they're not already there. Inhale, make your way up onto all fours so that you can tuck your toes and make your way back to a downward facing dog. Once you're in this downward facing dog, adjust your hands, adjust your feet. So your feet are about hips width apart, your heels are moving down towards the mat. Your hands are about shoulders width apart, your fingers are spread nice and wide, and your head and neck are relaxed. Take an inhale to lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees. Step your feet up to the front of the mat. Your feet are about hips width apart. Go ahead and grab opposite elbows. Tuck your chin into your chest for Ragdoll Pose. And in this Ragdoll Pose, you can put a slight bend in your knees if that feels good for you. You can sway from side to side. And then let your hands hang heavy. Start to roll one vertebrae at a time. As you inhale, come all the way up to standing. Roll your shoulders down your back. Coming into mountain pose for a moment, your arms can be down at your sides, or you can bring your right hand to your belly and your left hand to your heart. Close your eyes if that does not mess with your balance, and bring your focus back to your breath. Drop your hands to your sides, start to open your eyes. You're going to interlace your fingers and press your palms away from you. Start to reach your palms up to the sky. Look up if it doesn't hurt your neck. Continuing to breathe here. Start to lower your arms back down. Release your hands, interlace your fingers behind your back. And if you cannot comfortably straighten your arms, you can modify this by grabbing opposite forearms. So it's whatever feels good for you. Your feet are about hips width apart. Take an inhale, lift your head and your chest. And as you exhale, forward fold. Your arms come up off your back if that is comfortable. And no matter where you are, if you're modified or not, your head and neck are relaxed and your focus is on your breath. Stay in this forward fold, but gently release your hands. Let them hang heavy for a moment. And then as you inhale, your hands come below your knees. Halfway lift, get a little bit of length. And then as you exhale, your hands go flat to the mat. Your feet step back into a high plank. And you can hold this. You can put your knees down if you want to rest, or you can bring your left knee to your left elbow and take it back. Right knee to right elbow, take it back. Left knee to left elbow, take it back. Right knee to right elbow, take it back one more time. Left knee to left elbow, and then right knee to right elbow. Go ahead and put your knees down on the mat and come up to standing on your knees. So you're stacked from your knees to your hips to your shoulders. And you're going to take your hands to the small of your back as if you're sticking your hands into some pockets. Squeeze your elbows together, press your hips forward as you drop your head back. Stretch out those abs. Remembering to breathe nice and deep here. If you cannot comfortably breathe, that is your body's indication that you're going too far, so just come up a little bit. All right, inhale, start to come back. You can put your hands down on the mat and press back into a child's pose. Gently start to come up. You're going to bring your knees together and open your feet nice and wide. Begin to set your hips back as much as it is comfortable for you for Hero's Pose. So in this Hero Pose, if your knees are really tight, this might not be comfortable. You can support yourself with a block, a bolster, some pillows, some books, whatever you have laying around. And we're just getting a little bit of internal rotation in our hips. All right, gently start to press yourself forward so that you can cross your ankles, roll over them, come into sitting on your butt. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together, fairly close to your hips. Maybe you peel the soles of your feet open and let your hips and knees open just a little bit more. So you can hang out right here if this is comfortable. If you want to go a little bit deeper, all you need to do is fold forward. So if you folded forward, gently start to make your way back up. From here, you're going to lean onto your left hip so that you can swing that right foot back behind you. Once you do that, you can wiggle that left foot so your shin is maybe parallel with the front of the mat. Now this pose looks different for everyone, so it's whatever is comfortable for you. If you have super tight hips, you might not have a lot of flexibility in this pose. So you can sit up nice and tall. You can fold forwards and feel a nice stretch in the outside of that left hip. Another option would be twisting to the left and folding forwards either to the ground or maybe to a bolster or a pillow. So it's whatever feels good for you. Gently start to make your way back up. To get out of this pose, you're going to lean onto your left hip and swing your right foot around. Bring the soles of your feet together, and you're going to slide your feet away from your hips. And so you're going to notice that when your feet were closer to your hips, you were stretching the inside of your thighs. Now that your feet are further away, you're stretching the outside of your hips. Again, you can remain right here or you can fold forward. Gently start to make your way back up. And we're going to come into deer pose on the other side by rolling onto that right hip, swinging that left foot around, wiggling the right foot to the left, and then doing whatever you need to become comfortable. Whew. And now I'm starting to notice that this is a little uneven. So you can remain here, you can fold forwards, or you can twist out to the right. If you twist out to the right, you might notice the stretch more in the front of that left hip. If you fold forwards, you're going to notice the stretch in the outside of your right hip. Gently start to make your way back up, rolling onto that right hip, swinging your left foot around. You're going to cross your ankles, roll over them, bring your knees to touch, open your feet nice and wide. Come back into that hero's pose. Again, just internally rotating your hips after all that external hip rotation. And you might notice that you're able to sit down a little bit further or a little bit more comfortably. So while you're here, if it's possible, bring your attention to the base of your spine at your tailbone and see if it's possible to get a little bit of length in that low back. And then with every inhale, start to make your way up your vertebrae and see if it's possible to get a little bit of space in between each vertebrae. Maybe it's possible to soften the tension in between your shoulder blades. Maybe you want to roll your shoulders up and back. Maybe you want to do little neck rolls. All right, so from here, you're going to gently press your way up so that you're standing over your knees once more. You're going to come back into that camel pose by bringing your hands to the small of your back. Press your elbows together, press your hips forward, drop your head back. Remembering to breathe here. Gently start to come up, and you're going to tuck your toes. So from here, you're going to reach your right hand down to your right heel, lift your left hand up to the sky. Remembering to press your hips forward so they remain over your knees. And then gently come all the way back up to center. Your left hand reaches for your left heel. Your right hand reaches up to the sky. All the way back up to center. Now this time you can bring both hands to your heels. It's easier to reach if your toes are tucked. If you want a little bit more, you can untuck your toes. And if this is too much, you can always bring your hands back to the small of your back. Gently start to make your way all the way up. Cross your ankles, roll over them, come into sitting, extend your legs nice and long. From here, we're going to come into a forward fold. So inhale your arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, reach your hands forward and fold to your own degree. Now, if your hamstrings are really tight, it's easy to overstretch your low back in this pose. So to avoid that, you can put a slight bend in your knees and maybe slide your arms underneath and give yourself a hug. And after you hang out here for a few moments, you can wiggle your feet forward. Maybe eventually taking your hands out from underneath your legs and straightening them completely. You have the option to inhale, halfway lift for a little bit of length, and then exhale, fold forward once more. Gently start to press your way back up. Go ahead and bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Tuck your chin into your chest. And just take a moment here in this seated child's pose. Now, if you feel like you need more of a break, you can hang out right here. That's totally fine. If you want to challenge your balance, you can rock back onto your sit bones, lifting your feet up. If you want to take it one step further, you can grab the back of your thighs. One step further, reach your arms out in front of you. And one step further, you could straighten your legs and come into boat pose. So find a comfortable place for you to hang out. If you want to add a little bit more, you can bring your fingertips to your ears, elbows go out to the sides. Fingertips reach up to the sky. Fingertips back to ears, and then reach them forward. Go ahead and squeeze your knees into your chest, rest your feet on the mat, and meet everyone else in that seated child's pose. From here, you're going to roll all the way onto your back. Your feet are hips width apart. Soles of your feet are close to your sit bones. Your hands are down at your sides. As you inhale, lift your hips up, come into bridge pose. Go ahead and lower your hips back down. From here, you're going to bring your right ankle above your left knee. Flex your right foot to protect that right knee. And from here, go ahead and lift your hips once more. You're going to activate those right hip muscles to press that knee down towards the mat, and you should feel a nice stretch in that right hip. Go ahead and lower your hips down. Right foot comes down to the mat. We'll get the other side. So left ankle above right knee. Lift your hips up. Activate that left hip muscles to pull that knee down towards the mat so you feel a nice stretch. Keep lifting those hips up as high as you can. Keep that left foot flexed. And remember to breathe. Lower your hips back down. Left foot comes to the mat. Bring your knees to touch, but walk your feet nice and wide. Get a little internal hip rotation. Now, if this isn't enough for you, if you want a little bit more, You can drop one knee into the middle and then the other, and just windshield wiper your knees back and forth. All right, gently start to bring your knees in towards your chest and give yourself a hug. From here, keep a hold of that right knee. Lift your left leg up to the sky and let it fall down towards the mat. Lift your right foot up to the sky, and you can hold whatever is comfortable, either the back of your thigh, maybe you lift your head and your chest and you reach for your shin, ankle, or foot, whatever feels good for you. So if your head and chest is lifted, go ahead and lower it. You're going to grab the outside of your right thigh or calf with that left hand. Your right hand and gaze go out to the right. Pull your leg to the left for a gentle twist and stretch in that right hip. Start to come back to center. Squeeze both knees in towards your chest. Maybe rock from side to side, and then keep a hold of that left knee. As you reach your right foot up to the sky, let it fall down towards the mat. Extend that left leg up to the sky. You can keep your head and chest on the mat, or you can lift it for a little bit more of an active pose, and then reach for whatever is comfortable for you, whether it's the back of your thigh or your shin, ankle, or foot. Pull that left leg in closer to you. And then from here, your right hand grabs the outside of that left leg wherever you'd like. Left hand and gaze go out to the left. Pull your leg to the right. Try to keep it straight if it is possible, but if that's too much, you can always put a bend in that knee. Gently start to come back to center, bringing both knees in towards your chest. From here, soles of the feet come to the mat. Keep your feet together, open your knees nice and wide. Bring your right hand to your belly and your left hand to your heart. Bring your focus back to your breath. And that will be our final pose for class today. You can hang out in Supta Baddha Konasana for as long as you'd like, or you can straighten your legs and rest in Shavasana that way. Whatever feels good for you, and I will see you guys later. All
right, that's all I have for you guys this week. I had so much fun recording this video. If you liked it, please subscribe to this channel, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.